Hey guys, my name's Kathleen McKinnon. I'm a senior here at EIU, and I'm going to talk to you today about my research paper. So, my research question is, are there political biases in the coverage of climate change and global warming? I think, as you know, in the USA today, the two prominent parties are Democrat and Republican. Right now, Republican is in office. And so, what my research paper is kind of going to get down to is what are the political biases and how is the um, environmental news coverage being impacted by our government and the different parties. So to start, my first paper that I'm really going to use as the meat of my research paper is called The Great Divide, Understanding the Role of Media and Other Drivers of the Partisan Divide and Public Concern over Climate Change in the USA. This is a study that's 13 years long, 2001 to 2014. And it just really explores the differences in how Democrats and Republicans view climate change. And I get really why this paper is going to support my research question is that it all links it back to media. So it's saying that your political standings and how you view climate change so differently is linking back to media and who you watch on the TV. So who you watch, is it Fox, is it, whoever it may be, but it's saying that those news stations are either a little more shifted towards Democrat or shifted towards Republican. So it breaks up kind of people's views into four different categories, which is media coverage, extreme weather, assurance of major scientific reports, and economic and activity changes in foreign conflict. So those factors are going to be explored a lot more throughout my paper. So secondly, the second article that I'm really going to use is where does political polarization come from, locating polarization within the USA climate change debate. So this is saying that it's kind of the opposite, but it's saying that individuals' stance on climate change is defined by their political party. So if you're Democrat, then you're going to really believe in climate change. And if you're Republican, then you're not. And it's kind of just discussing the factors that contribute to mass media and one's effect on climate change. And finally, my third paper that I'm really going to explore is Threat Without Efficacy is the title, Climate Change on USA Network News. It's by Hart and Feldman. It's a relatively recent article, so that's really important to discuss. So Threat Without Efficacy kind of is an interesting take on things, and this is really the article that I'm most excited for to use because it's saying that now it's hard to argue that there's no such thing as climate change necessarily because there's so many real, I guess, proof kind of that humans are affecting the climate and it's getting pretty bad. But this is saying that, so it's hard to say that you don't believe in climate change at all. Now it's saying that it's not necessarily that people are denying it. It's saying that how the news stations portray climate change to be. And so this is really important because it's saying that political parties impact not if they cover environmental problems per se, but it's how. So it's saying that Fox News or whoever else it may be, they might say that, yeah, this is happening and this is because of climate change, but not really why. Whereas a more democratic news station will say, this is happening because of humans and our human activity. And so that right there puts a whole nother twist on things. And so this paper is really going to be important because it's not the denial of climate change, but it's how that we portray climate change. which I think is a really important thing. And so this is where the efficacy comes in, because there's a lapse in efficacy when a news station portrays climate change but doesn't relate it back to the cause, which is us. So these 3 articles are really what I'm going to use in my paper. I would like to find one more source that I can use that will argue it a little bit, but if I can't find that, that's okay, because it's more of an exploration of views and of how media biases and political parties really impact how environmental awareness and news is spread throughout our society and throughout the media.